Hello, everyone, and welcome to Cruise Corner, a podcast by Cruise Trade News. My name is Will, and I'm the editor of CTN. And today I'm joined by Princess Cruises UK and Europe Sales Director, Hayley Moore. It's great to have you with us.
Hi, Will. Thanks for having me. Pleased to be here.
Not at all. We're really excited. We've seen tons of exciting things from Princess this year, which we will definitely get onto. But one thing that I did want to talk about at the start of this is last week we had a quick catch up towards the end of the day with some other activations we've got going on with Princess, which we're also really excited about. And it was an interesting chat because you were juggling, talking to me with cooking duties for your family, which I very much admire because, you know, I struggle to cook on my own with nothing else on my mind. But it made me think, as I was sort of balanced on the kitchen counter while you was cooking dinner, you know, what is it like juggling those family responsibilities with work, especially at your level and in the travel industry?
Yeah, absolutely. I was laughing about that as well. It was 5 p.m.
Yes, it was at the end of the day. Yeah.
But I think that, like, you call it the juggle, and someone was saying to me, I can't nail the juggle. If I nailed to juggle 3 balls, there'd be 4, 5, 6, 7. Like, it just doesn't work. So, like, it's real, isn't it? So I'm thinking, I read this thing about some parents have like the non-negotiables. They're not going to miss the parents' evening. They're not going to miss the nativity. And I remember a couple of years ago trying that, like, I'm going to be at the parents' evening. So you leave a meeting early, you rearrange your diary, you get to a 5-minute appointment with the teacher, which is now 3.5 minutes because the parent in front of you is moaning about some bully in the class or whatever. So you got your 3.5 minutes and they show you a picture and they've drawn a picture of your family and you're the mum and they've drawn you as a zombie. And it's like, oh, I don't know if that was actually worth rearranging. So I don't have any non-negotiables, basically. I just think the needs of the business change and the needs of my children change as they grow up as well. So I'm just playing it by ear, flying by the seat of my pants. And I have a bit of a mantra, and I suppose that came through when we chatted last week, which is I call it just like, be honest, stay professional. So honestly, Will, I'm here doing the spaghetti bolognese, but I'm concentrating. Yeah. But it doesn't mean that you can't be professional.
No, of course.
And I do think there's like, over the time, that's really evolved for women, especially in the travel industry as well. We're really accepting of that. I work for Carnival, which is part of Princess is part of Carnival, and we're really lucky to have a flexible working policy. So I'll get up and check my emails, but then I might do the school run and then I'm back online. But it just doesn't mean that you can't be a good leader, do a good job. So stay honest, be professional is my mantra.
Yeah, it's brilliant advice. I mean, as you say, you know, so many people were juggling these responsibilities, and that sort of, you know, evolution of the workplace, as you say, with a bit more flexible remote working, it does help, but obviously those responsibilities are still there. And especially with us, you know, we travel loads, there's always an event, there's an awards, there's a conference, so it must be tricky to balance.
It is really tricky. And you know, sometimes the biggest thing I always say to people, because people say about being a mum, but as I say, as the kids grow up, the needs change. It's not that. It's like my relationship. Yeah. We are ships in the night, literally. People are like, how are you managing the kids? I'm like, the kids is the easy bit. That's just the logistics. Actually, it's like, oh, hi, Lewis. When are we actually talk about this family we created? I haven't seen you for weeks on end. So, yeah. The juggle is real, and I haven't nailed the juggling act yet, but we're doing it.
Yeah, well, there you go. I mean, massive kudos for last week because we touched on some very important points, and we got all of this sorted, and I'm sure dinner was lovely.
Yeah,
both at the same time, which was very impressive.
Well, it was funny because the girls, one of them's a bit of a fussy eater. Took her on Princess Cruise. She had a spaghetti bolognese. You know what kids are like? That's it now. So that's the full zone. Yeah. But food on Princess is fantastic. I haven't nailed the recipe, but they've introduced spaghetti bolognese into our lives.
There you go. Now, speaking of Princess, obviously a lot of people would have noticed something very different with our February issue, going back a few months, but of course it certainly made some waves. I've got a copy of it here, which, I mean, in terms of trying to guess who that's about, I think it's come out brilliantly. We were super, super happy with how this came out. The big Princess takeover. What do you think? Obviously, there was a lot of effort going into it. We turned it around. It came out brilliantly. What were your thoughts?
Absolutely loved it. That is a highlight of my career with Princess so far, that partnership. I think for me, I mean, I actually come from a brand and marketing background for those that know me. So the branding element is just second to none. It's like a real money can't buy that. I mean, you guys even let us infiltrate your own branding there by replacing the U in Cruise with the heart.
Absolutely.
So I think from a brand awareness point of view, we are not so well known in the UK market as some of our competitors. So that was a great opportunity. But I think the other thing for me is an industry first. We got nominated for an award, which subsequently we were cheated out of and didn't win. However, I think that recognition of it being an industry first and sort of creating that blueprint, and it really isn't like something that we came to you with or you came to us with, that's what I love about it. It demonstrates and showcases to agents our really authentic partnership.
Yeah.
That's just a brainchild born out of conversations, us understanding your business, reaching out to agents, you understanding us as a brand. So you can't fake partnership like that, and I absolutely loved it.
Yeah, I did too. I mean, it was something that I've never worked on before as a journalist. It's something that it was new territory for us as well. And as you say, I think we were learning from each other on like sort of how a cruise line business works, and then you guys learned how a media business works and the things that we needed. And it's great to work close with the team who are absolutely brilliant. And yeah, it all came to a head with a nomination at awards ceremony.
I know.
Which unfortunately didn't take home, but the fact
and
that
the follow up we've just had in September as well.
Yeah.
So it's just sort of great opportunity for us to keep that story alive and stay top of mind with agents about what what Princess is all about.
Exactly. And speaking of, is there anything that we've got to look forward to in the coming months from Princess? I know it's a very busy time of year at the moment, lots of noise out there, so what can we look forward to?
Yeah, I mean, our biggest our biggest thing coming up, which everyone I'm sure will know about, is Star Princess.
Yes.
So she joins us in October, and she is a sister ship of Sun Princess, who's already sailing in the fleet. And they introduce a new class of ship for us, so Sphere class, which sounds a bit technical, but it is it's a different class for the brand. So such a great opportunity. So I think having Star Princess come in so quickly after Sun Princess as well, it gives us more opportunity. So the bigger ships, so they're increasing our occupancy, so more opportunity to sell Princess and take customers to places all across the globe. Star Princess will be in Alaska next year as well. So 2027, it's our biggest season yet in Alaska. We also have lodges in Alaska, so cruise and stays massive. So I feel like we always used to call ourselves number one in Alaska, Princess. It was really known, and mainly because we've got these lodges as well, including 2 in the Denali National Park. But like anything, places get noisy, everyone starts traveling there. So for me, Star Princess is a real opportunity to put Princess back on the map in Alaska, as she will be there showcasing. And she is just, designed to bring the outside in. She is floor to ceiling glass. She's absolutely incredible. So you've got Sun Princess sailing around the Med, you've got Star Princess in Alaska, and it's not all about new hardware, but there's such a great platform and give agents opportunities to speak to customers about our brand. So that is what I'm most excited about.
Yeah, it sounds super exciting. And you touched on there, the similarities between 2 ships, but having one in the Med and one up in Alaska, 2 very different destinations. And is that something that you had feedback from your consumers and your agents in terms of where people want to go? Is that like quite a popular destination at the moment up in Alaska?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, deployment planning is something that I'm not wholly involved in, thank goodness, because that sounds like a logistical nightmare. But yeah, 2 really important regions for our brand. And we are seeing the demand for guests sailing the Med with Princess and sailing Alaska. The great thing about them is, I mean, at the moment, that's where they're positioned, but we went large, but we didn't go too big. So both of those ships could still fit down the Panama Canal.
Oh, excellent.
So in terms of future-proofing and how they position ships in the future, I personally don't have sight of that, but I know that Sun Princess is performing exceptionally well in the Mediterranean at the moment, and we see a lot of demand from there globally, from UK source guests, but also guests joining us from America.
Brilliant.
Love to experience Mediterranean on Sun Princess.
What ways to do it? I have experienced it myself, and it is incredible.
She is, isn't
did
she?
it last year. It's such a lovely ship, and I'm super excited for Star Princess.
And I think, with Star Princess, as you mentioned there, like listening to guest feedback, So, for instance, O'Malley's is an Irish bar we've got on Sun Princess that you will have experienced. It's got live music every night. It's a real get in there venue. Like,
brilliant.
It's the one that everyone wants to be in. It's always busy, which is a good and a bad thing, right? But so Star Princess, O'Malley's is bigger, because they really recognise people are loving this.
Yeah.
So, you know, there's lots of tweaks to Star, so it's not going to be exactly the same. But, you know, on the whole, it is the essence. But I love the fact that they've been able to listen to the feedback. And Love by Brito, a restaurant that's performing really well in Sun Princess as well.
Excellent.
The menu is all centred around love and has even got some aphrodisiacs on the menu. But that restaurant will also be bigger on Star. So, yeah, I'm really excited to see Star Princess in the flesh.
Yes, so we definitely cannot wait to cover that. So of course that's the main thing coming up. Very exciting.
Yeah.
But there's obviously a lot of other things that we've got on the horizon across the whole industry. I mean, obviously not
absolutely.
It's a pretty busy time of year. What else are you looking forward to for the rest?
Well, it's award season, isn't it? Coming up. And of course, my amazing sales team won the Wave Award last year for Best Trade Sales Team. And we've been nominated again this year. So I'm very excited about that. For me, that's like the absolute pinnacle of what we're here to do. That tells me that I know the team are doing a great job, but it's not my opinion that matters. That just like really validates. It's such an accolade that they're being voted for by our travel agents.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping for a win there, but we're nominated for a few different things, and it's just really important for us at Princess Awards. And I think it's just because it offers that platform for travel agents to create talking points with their guests and create compelling stories. And we've won a lot of awards since I've been in role as a brand outside of my team. And I just think that the range of awards that we've seen as well. So we've had national awards from newspapers about being the biggest cruise ocean lines, and things like the Good Housekeeping Reader Recommends.
Yeah.
So, and they're all for different things. So we've really got like a great portfolio of awards, whether it's team, whether it's brand, whether it's the ship, whether it's the offering.
Yeah.
We've got an award for destination in Australia. And for me, that's just what it's all about. It's just brings that kind of authenticity to the guest. It's not just us saying it.
Yeah.
Other people are recognising it, and it can open up really good conversations.
Yeah. It's validated. And as you say, obviously, Princess, as you said earlier, might not be the biggest cruise brand in the UK, but having all of these, it gets the word out there and sort of it turns people's heads. And I guess also for agents who might not have experienced the product, having these accolades sort of tells agents, oh, actually, you know, these guys know what they're talking about. And my customers will have a good time when they're on board.
Just an opportunity to create compelling stories. And as well as the awards, ship visits. That's the other thing that we do so well in the industry. And I'm happy to hang my hat on that. We have created a blueprint. Other brands are absolutely copying us. And I'm fine with that. You know, it's so important for every brand to get these agents on board, experiencing the product. We know that is the best way for them to be able to sell to a guest. So ship visits is something that we do really well. And back to the kind of the cruise trade news takeover, it is I'm all about wanting to refine and have the best blueprint out there. And when others follow, for me, that is like great success because you know you're doing something right.
Absolutely.
So yeah, we love to bring our agents to the ship. And just popping back to Star Princess that we were mentioning, we're actually bringing agents onto her inaugural sailing. So we have dozens of agents on that sailing. We did it with Sun Princess. We also had agents on her inaugural voyage. And I just think that's such a special moment to be the first in experiencing our hardware. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how that goes down with those lucky agents.
Yeah, brilliant. I mean, obviously, you know, we know better than anyone that getting on board is just the best way to learn about a product, learn about an itinerary, learn about a brand, whatever it might be. And sort of linking in with that, something else that you've done recently with us is appear on World of Cruising TV, our sister magazine's television foray, which has been incredibly successful. And that's another way that agents are learning about these brands in a different way than reading about them or training, and actually sort of living the brand and sort of breathing and seeing what it's like. So when you did fly out to Palma to join the filming, how was that? Or what was that like?
God, that was such an amazing experience. Again, just an opportunity with World of Cruising TV to bring our brand to life. And as you say, Will, it's just bring it to life in a whole different way. What I love about the format of that show, very informal. And at Princess, you know, we are we say we're not stuffy. We are classic cruise, but cruise has got some of those sort of, I guess, more traditional connotations.
Yeah.
But we're not. So I felt like being on the couch, especially with Kay as well, and with Dean there, gave us the perfect platform to just showcase the brand as it would be. And I guess me there being the voice and the face of Princess. And then when we hop to the kitchen and we can experience some recipes from on board, I just think it gives a completely different, excuse the pun, but flavour to another way of talking, you know, looking through a brochure. And it also then brings the destinations to life as well. So I think, you know, that TV show is such a great opportunity to give sort of a very quick whistle stop, but you know, 360 view of a brand for viewers. So yeah, really, that was a fantastic thing to do.
It's such a different way of doing it as well. I mean, as we mentioned, you know, we're on our new podcast, we have the magazines, we have our online coverage, we have emails, we have everything. So like having the TV as well, it's just another way of reaching our audience in a different means, as you say. And yeah, we found tons of success to it, and yeah, really excited to see what happens with the Princess.
Yeah, absolutely. No, really good. And to your point, people are just consuming media all the time in all different channels, and we have to adapt to that and make sure that we're in every channel that's available to them. So that opportunity with World of Cruising certainly ticked a big box for us.
Excellent. Now, it's been, I'd make it probably nearly 3 years since you joined Princess. 2 of those in your current role. I do remember covering the news when you first joined. And I feel like since then, we've caught up on so many different things. So many things have happened. But how has that been? I mean, you know, we've spoken about today the things you've done with us alone, but of course, so many other things have happened since then.
Yeah.
How has that been for you those last few years?
God, you know, I'm not just saying this because I'm sat here talking to you, and obviously my boss, I'm sure, will be listening, but it's probably the best job that I've had to date.
Brilliant.
Absolutely. And that is made by both the brand and the team. The team are fantastic. I think, you know, when you take a new role, and bearing in mind that I didn't come from a sales-based background, I'd done sales before outside of cruise. So I had that sort of marketing and brand experience as well. When you can bring fresh eyes to a role, I suppose, or a different outlook. And I've just learned so much from the team. I am learning all the time. I've got great tenureship in the team with a blend of fresh blood too. So I think we've sort of nailed the balance. And that's why that award last year felt so special, because I just think the team have just, you know, really clicked. But I think when you first come in, you can make real difference quickly.
Yeah.
But that trajectory then does sort of begin to plateau, because you're like, right, there was the big rocks. And now it's like, well, actually, this is, you know, we're here, we're embedded. How's it going? So I think sort of next year looking on is like, right, so what are the things, what's the next level of that?
Absolutely.
Like, what is the build? And I've had more time to understand, learn, know what it's like. So I just feel like you can get in and get the big rocks, but next year, probably those more sort of sophisticated, refined decisions coming up.
Yeah, no, we look forward to that. We'll have to have you back on for another episode.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just sell that one. So as part of our takeover that we did back in February, which again, you know, as we've already said, was really, really interesting. We asked you to give us some pieces of advice for people in cruise or people who are working in the travel industry, looking to get to that next step of their career and looking to get to those next levels, whatever that may be, whatever industry they're in. One of those pieces of advice you gave us was to seek mentorship outside of cruise, which is really interesting. It's something that could definitely help. I mean, given that sort of outside look in, we found it with some of the writers we use who don't normally write for cruise that give you a fresh perspective. How's that helped you get to where you are today in terms of mentors you've had from outside of cruise, outside of travel? Obviously, you said that you worked in a sales background before, outside of the industry. So how have those learnings helped get you to where you are today?
Actually, since we did that interview in February, I have graduated from a bit more of an official mentorship program, which was called Whittle. So it's Women in Hospitality, Travel and Leisure, I believe, if I've got that right. And actually, my boss put me forward for that. Which was really nice to be recognised. And it is because I have I'm big on mentorship, and I believe, you know, what you put out, you get back. So thank you, Ethna, for putting me through. But in that process, I got paired up with a mentor outside of cruise. So I got this fantastic mentor called Emma, who I'm sure she won't mind me naming her, who works for the O2, so music industry, totally different to cruise, but does have that entertainment link.
Yeah.
We know entertainment's so important to cruise, but no, you know, I call it free work therapy. That is what mentorship is, and it is just through those conversations. Sometimes you notice your gaps, your barriers, things that are holding you back, and you know, it's just giving the time for those conversations and the headspace and the accountability. So Emma and I would have some conversations, and really, like, I'm doing a lot of the work, you know, identifying what's going on here and just having that sort of different context, different set of eyes, and then being able to come up with some really clear actions about how we're going to tackle issues or what's going well, and then sort of me reporting back to her. So I think it's just that kind of accountability. I mean, you'd pay good money for being a therapist or a life coach or whatever it is. So yeah, I mean, it's helped me, and I just think, as back to your question for others, make sure you do have a mentor, but don't worry about going out and seeking one. I speak to people at work going, oh, I was thinking of asking so-and-so, what do you think? And oh, I don't know if they're going to have time. You might already have one. Right. You might already be having the right conversations with someone, but you just haven't taken it to the level of sort of formalizing it. But maybe it's just, I found that conversation really valuable, and I want to report back to you in 2 months on that, and just add in a bit of accountability. If you aren't having those conversations, you definitely should be. So in which case you should seek to get one. But yeah, basically you need a bit of free therapy, and you'll be going a long way. Honestly, I'm a big believer.
Well, I guess it helps keep you on track as well, because so many, especially when you're at the start of your career, or not even when you start, there's just so many things to learn, and there's so many things going on, and you're juggling loads of plates at the same time, and sometimes you sort of forget about that next step, what you've got to do to make that next jump, what other responsibilities you need. So having a mentor just to say, right, just take 10 minutes, let's talk about how things have been, what's the next step, what have you got to do, just to sort of keep you focused is, you know, it's invaluable, really.
I think they can really just recognize things you don't as well, and you're just so stuck in it. So it's exactly that. And I think the other thing I said back then was just never say no to an opportunity. So I'm still very much in that space.
Absolutely. Well, it's where it's got me where I am today, and this is exactly how I've ended up here. So you've always got to try new things. Hayley, it's been so great chatting with you. Thanks so much for taking the time. Now, we do like to finish off the episodes just by rounding up some key takeaways that our readers or our listeners can gain from this podcast. Now, a couple from me. I think one really interesting one that we don't normally talk about is the importance of awards and the importance of having that industry recognition. Now, sometimes it might not be the case of winning said award, and for some people listening, they might be coming from a really small agency or a small cruise line, and they might be a bit intimidated going up against huge names. And you might think, what's the point? Well, you know, just getting your name out there, getting to these events, getting on the shortlist, learning how to write award entries can go a really, really long way in attracting new customers, promoting your brand and things like that. So, you know, don't be put off. Don't be put off of entering. It does take time on some occasions, but it's absolutely worth it. And who knows, you know, if you've had a great year, if you've done something particularly amazing, then you could come away with a nice trophy. Another one, of course, as we literally just talk about, is the importance of mentorship. Now, as we say, we're always so caught up in everything we do, but it is important to take that time, find out someone who's in a position that potentially you want to get to, learn from them, learn from the people that are around you in the office or in the agency, wherever you might be, and just try and keep focused, try and keep on track. As I say, it's very easy to get distracted and do other things, but it's important. You know, we spend all our lives, or a very vast majority of our life, in these jobs, so it's important to develop and get something out of it. Hayley, is there one thing that you'd like our readers to take away from them from our conversation today?
No, I honestly think you've covered it all, but I would sort of plea to our agent community to really use those awards, because I genuinely feel that they are just such great conversation openers with our guests. And it's just that, you know, it's that third validation point. It's not me telling you, it's not the brand. These are things that are genuinely voted for by others, so that they're really important. And then I guess just back to what we said at the start, so I'm sort of laughing now to think that you were just sort of propped up on my worktop and sort of like keep moving the laptop over to miss the steam of the spaghetti.
I steamed up a few times.
But yeah, I do just think, you know, that kind of stay honest but be professional. Don't ever let you think that because you've got other things going on that it's going to impede your work. Because honestly, you might not be able to learn to juggle, but you will do it all.
Yeah, brilliant. Hayley, thank you so much for joining us. It's been great to catch up, and I'm sure we'll have you back for another episode soon.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you very much.